Let me ask you a very direct question. Do you think Israel wants to kill innocent civilians?
I do.
You think Israel genuinely wants to?
I do.
What evidence do you have of that?
The evidence is they are refusing to do special operations and instead are relying on bombing areas where they know civilians are at, and then they'll turn around and say, well, Hamas is using them as human shields.
So if someone was shooting at you, you don't have kids, right?
If an armed man grabbed a family member of yours, do you have kids?
No, I don't.
Oh, do you have? Okay, your mother. You talked about your mother. If an armed gunman grabbed your mother, had a gun to her head, okay, and he is confronted by the authorities, by law enforcement, and the law enforcement, they just decide, you know what, we're not going to negotiate, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to shoot the hell out of both of them. And then they come to you and say, well, your mother, sorry, was a human shield. Would you accept that argument?
That's not the question, though.
Would you accept that argument? That is exactly what happened during the genocide. And the fact that the United States is just willy-nilly providing cover for that behavior absolutely disgusts me. Israel has a right to defend itself. How it defends itself is where we should have that conversation. Sending special ops in to get Hamas, hell yeah, go get them. But the idea that all of these innocent kids should lose their lives as a result of this, I don't believe it. I will never support it. And in the long run, that is going to make Israeli civilians less safe, not more safe. It breeds more extremism.
So we're going over the top moments PBD podcast got destroyed over the Israel-Palestine conflict. PBD podcast, there are some moments I agree with them. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of respect for them during this whole conflict in the last year and a half in Gaza. And we're just going to go over the top 10 moments. Anna Kasparian destroyed Adam. Adam is such an idiot. But at this point, if anyone thinks that Israel's purpose wasn't to capture Gaza and they're just trying to defend themselves, you are hopefully ignorant, my friend. Now let's continue.
What happened with Palestine and Israel?
What happened?
What happened? They came together after 20 some years.
What?
What are you talking about when you say what?
What are you talking about? Hold on.
Well, he moved the capital to Jerusalem, is what you're saying.
So let's.
I don't know if there's
that.
been peace in the Middle East or anything like that.
Has there been any progress on peace?
Very limited.
It wasn't the capital. Did moving the embassy?
The embassy.
Hold
correct,
on a second.
correct.
Let me ask the question. Did moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem get us closer to peace, or did it get us further away? Do either of you guys know? I don't know if you've studied this issue.
There's arguments on both ends, but it has not led to peace and prosperity in Palestine, correct?
Did Trump promise, this is a very critical, clear question. Did Trump promise that Jared Kushner would solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict during the first term? Now,
that's
just
overreach.
a yes, no. Did he promise it?
I don't know if he promised it or promises made, promises kept. He was assigned to that duty.
And did it happen?
What happened?
Did Jared negotiate peace?
But I don't think anybody believed that peace was happening in the Middle East.
So it's okay for him to make promises that are obvious lies?
Ooh, David Pagman, that was actually a great moment. Patrick, PBD, just got destroyed on that one. He was just like, yeah, man, Trump did this. He got him to work together. No, he didn't. He literally didn't. And David Pagman just cleared that up. Because the problem with PBD podcast is that on this specific issue, they only look at one side. They only look at the Israeli side, totally ignore the Palestinian side. But I will give them props because they do bring a lot of Palestinian speakers on that totally destroy them. Bassem Youssef was probably the biggest one. He destroyed this guy, Adam. But yeah, let's continue.
600,000 to what?
645,000 to 2.1 million.
From what to, from when to where?
This is in 1990 to 2022.
Do you know why they increased?
Because they're having babies like crazy.
No, you see, this is how, like, when you watch data while being uninformed makes you look very stupid.
Tell me why. Tell me how the population has gone from 2 million to 5 million.
Yeah, because most of the 1.5 extra million didn't come from Gaza. They were pushed away from other parts of Israel. So most of these people, they have increased because of refugees being kicked out.
If you're talking about the settlers, those are tens of thousands. Stop
I'm talking about
those
Gaza.
aren't millions of people.
Dude, listen. My wife's family is not from Gaza, and yet they found themselves in Gaza because they were sitting in other cities and villages outside Gaza. This is the systemic pushing of people from other parts of Israel, pushing them to Gaza.
That's not millions. And the disengagement in 2006.
You don't know what you're talking about. These are people that
millions
were outside.
of people.
What?
Okay.
The people who belong to Gaza are 700,000 people. Right now, Gaza is 2.2 million. That is not birth rate, my friend. These are people pushed from, and by the way, that's not the first time. 1948, at the night of the declaration of the State of Israel, 1.5 million Palestinians were like moved overnight. So it's not the first thing. So before you giving me numbers you want to appear smart, know what are behind the numbers, because these are not people giving babies. These are people being pushed from other places in order to be part of the open air prison that it is.
Got him. So this is again the video I just mentioned, Bassem Youssef, when he went on to PBD podcast. So after Bassem Youssef's interview with Piers Morgan, when he was going absolutely viral, in my opinion, this was probably the second biggest interview he had. On PBD podcast, he was everywhere, and the best part was there was a Zionist right there, Adam Sosnick, who uses the same talking points that the mainstream media uses, and he came and absolutely obliterated every single argument that he had. And all you got to do is just dig an inch deeper. That's all you have to do.
So why aren't you yelling and bitching about Japan or Germany?
Because they're not our freaking
Because why?
Because why? Because their prime minister doesn't come to Congress and everybody stands up and worships him like he's Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's
because
the
they know
why?
who the guy in charge is, Adam.
Well, no.
They're not our. Hold on. Are they bigger allies? Do we give them as much money as we give to Israel? And they can do whatever they want. And you're failing to go back to what I said about Candace. You're not an anti-Semite. You don't hate Jews because you're criticizing Israel. And I get it. The Muslim world in Europe is doing what they're doing. I get it. But with zero accountability, that means, Adam, in 100 years from now, we're going to go, well, guess what? They did it, and who cares? Because they're our allies, so they can get away with murder.
So there's dozens of wars going on all around the world.
Yes.
Why aren't you talking about
who's
the war
the closest ally?
Syria,
Because Adam, my
Yemen,
tax dollars are going to what's happening over there in Gaza, Adam. And if you've been keeping toll of the death count of children and everything, that sits on my mind. Because at what point is that going to stop? So when is that going to end?
What other wars?
And by the way, again, wait, let me guess. Because I said that, I support Hamas and I hate Jews. Is that what it is?
I don't want to see any deaths of anybody.
Come on, man. But the numbers are staggering in the other way. When is that going to stop?
Good luck.
So this was more of an internal civil conflict in PBD podcast. Both of them are co-hosts, and Vinny is the only one who's fair-headed on this Israel-Palestine issue. He's the only one that looks at the other side and has a bit of sympathy towards the other side. The other two are totally heartless. And in this, I mean, it's such a clean-cut case. You can say this argument often comes up. Why do people only care about Israel? Why not all of the other countries doing all of their wars, etc., etc.? And it's very simple. We as American citizens should be worried because our money directly goes there. They are not only an ally, we give them a lot of money. And not just a lot of money, we give them special treatment on many things. Many things. It's not just financial.
The part I question where people who are Jewish can't stand when I say this, I don't know how you, Netanyahu, claim you have the best intelligence in the world, Mossad, and you didn't know that on October 7th they were attacking you.
About it. They didn't. They wanted it to happen, so they had a reason to take that. Yeah, they wanted a reason to take the land.
I totally get it.
And they killed their own citizens. And they claimed that all these people got raped. That was bullshit. They claimed beheaded babies. That was bullshit. Everything that they said was a fucking complete. Not only was it a lie, but they committed all those atrocities themselves to the Palestinians and been caught doing it. In fact, they just got caught gang raping Palestinians. You know, how many babies have they killed? All the things that they accuse the Palestinians of or Hamas of or whatever, they're guilty of 100-fold themselves. And they've been doing that. Like October 7th wasn't the start of this. Like the start of this was Nakba. They've done so many different.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, so I mean, this is not like, it's not like October 7th is like, just all of a sudden they just came over there unsolicited and just killed people. Like they have been killing Palestinians for years and years.
The whole I don't disagree. I hate when PBD says I don't disagree. Can you just be a man and say I agree with you? Like what's with this double negative? Now also this was a legendary interview that he had with Dan Bilzerian. What I do want to say is the reason I give PBD podcast some credit is because that interview with Dan Bilzerian, it went viral. It was huge. That interview was huge. And PBD podcast didn't have to post that. Quite frankly, I mean, he could have been flagged for it on YouTube. He could have had a strike for it on YouTube. It could have been demonetized. He went ahead and, risked his channel and posted it anyways. And for that, I respect it.
Israel has blown up the Middle East, blown it up. It's just like they're remaking the Middle East. They're taking that's what they said they do. Netanyahu vowed to do this, and he's done it. So many of these countries are out of commission now. And now Iran is the next target of this guy, this madman. And we're in his pocket. We have no apparent say in what he's going to do.
Netanyahu.
Yes, and AIPAC and all the Israeli mechanism that operates in the United States. Our vote, our Congress means nothing. Netanyahu comes and addresses them 3 times. They stand up like dogs, clapping for everything he says, like dogs. It was disgusting. The most disgusting moment.
There's a good point that, these wars in the Middle East, as Wesley Clark pointed out, it's basically the neocon agenda, and a lot of these neocons are dual Israeli citizens, right? And so it's like, who has benefited? We were with Shimon Peres when he said the Iraq war benefits us. He said that I remember very clearly. He's like, it secures our border against Saddam, right? On the Iraq side. The wars are all, it's as Jeffrey Sachs pointed out, this is all Israel's policy with the Middle East. It's almost like we've basically said, okay, whatever Israel wants in the Middle East, we'll do.
Let's continue with number 4 on the top 10 list.
But I don't personally support Trump. I think Trump has to do more.
Such as what? Like, what does he need to do?
I think his support for Israel is one thing in particular, and perhaps his favor of those Zionist politics is one of the biggest things that are perhaps holding Trump back from a true America First policy.
So you're not for him supporting the Zionists and Israel. You don't like that.
I am not in favor of it.
Why are you uncomfortable with that?
I believe not only is the wars in the Middle East, often involving Israel, either directly or indirectly, are a huge drain of resources, of diplomatic credibility. I mean, how many countries in the world hate the United States because we have chosen Israel as an ally over however many dozens of countries despise us for our role in that. But it is a drain of blood, it's a drain of resources, it's a drain of money, it's a drain of diplomatic credibility. And culturally, Americans have very little in common with, I think, a lot of the people that live in Israel. Perhaps not much more than we would have in common with the people who live in other countries.
Unpack that. What do you mean by that? The word we disagree with a lot of people in Israel.
Americans are not culturally similar to Israelis any more than we would be culturally similar to Iranians, especially, in the country where you grew up. I know Iran has changed very drastically, but I don't think we have a whole lot. There's no reason that Israel needs to be this ally, which we are willing to sacrifice our place on the global stage for, which we're willing to wage trillion-dollar wars to destabilize their neighbors. There's no reason except for the fact that there's so many Zionists in the American government, in lobbying groups like AIPAC, and they brag about their influence. They brag about being able to buy politicians. And you look up politicians that say pro-Israel things, that they defend Israel invading these cities in Gaza, and you look at how much money they've received from AIPAC.
And I think he has a great point there. If you are a Republican, which many people that are Republicans say that they are America First, if you are truly an America First Republican, then there is absolutely no reason, no argument for us to be supporting Israel so much with our tax dollars. Israel has been in a budget surplus. Think about that. We're in like over $30 trillion of debt. The United States of America, the United States is in over $30 trillion of debt, something like that, right? Israel is making a surplus. They're making great money. They have great Secret Service. They have a great military. Why are we giving them so much money still? It makes no sense to me. Why are we so involved in their foreign policy? Why are we doing it for them? They can handle themselves.
You know nothing. You literally know nothing.
So guess what?
And you're jumping to conclusions. Let the facts come out.
I know nothing.
Let the facts come out.
I know nothing. The freaking prime minister of Israel said, whoops. We made a mistake.
No, it's in Israeli, in Hebrew, it's called a mishap.
Mishap, aka mistake, Adam. Mistake. Yes, it was.
They bombed an ammo post with weapons that were shooting missiles into Tel Aviv. Vinny, if you were the prime minister, listen.
Hold on, wait, before you go there. So you know for a fact the missiles were coming from Rafah? Is that what you're telling me? No, he said Gaza.
What?
Were they coming from Rafah?
That's literally where they said
No, they didn't. They said from Gaza. They weren't leaving from the encampment where they're innocent people. Okay. And here's the point, Adam. You want to talk about making points? You're missing my point. My point is, I am an American. My tax dollars, we just said, well, how much was it, PBD? $28 billion to Israel. I have the right to talk as much shit as I want about him and the government's action.
So when you start an argument by saying you know nothing, I think you've already lost the argument. Oftentimes people get personal like that when they don't have an argument to make. Now the second part is that Adam here tries to act all smart. He knows Hebrew. Oh, he did not say there was a mistake. The word he used was a mishap. Someone explain to me what the difference of that is. Is there a difference between mistake and mishap? Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't give two shits about the Muslims in the UK, but a quick Google search will show you that Muslims' population will double by 20.
Sorry, I just want to say, could you imagine if someone said, I don't give a crap about the Jews in the UK? It's just, people just have such double standards. Anyways, number 2, I love this moment. She is super sarcastic. I love this one.
30, apparently, and go from 6.3% to 17% by 2050. This is Google, Katie. I don't care.
Okay, let's go from the start there. You showing me what a phone is and saying this is a phone,
Yeah.
that isn't really the way to start an argument, because that's to assert that I'm stupid and don't know what a phone is.
Well, you're assuming we're stupid because we can't Google things that you say as a fact
Would
checker.
you like me to answer what you just
Sure,
said?
go
or are you
ahead.
going to talk over me?
We could do either one. I could go either way. So, but go ahead. This is all you.
Is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So starting off on that kind of tone, I don't think is necessary. You then go to your phone and say, I can Google this, like you've got the biggest penis on the planet. Whereas
You might have the biggest penis on the planet, Katie. I don't know.
Darling, I've got bigger balls than Caitlyn Jenner.
I actually believe you, Katie. I actually believe you. But go.
Many of those things won't actually be true. So just because you Googled something,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really make you Elon Musk, darling, does it? It just means maybe you can use one or two of your hands, probably at one side of your hand more than the other. It's had more practice. You then talk about Zelensky's height as if that's a fact because you read it. And that's a misinterpretation of itself, isn't it? Because just because you read it on Google doesn't make it true, my flower pot, does it? And then you also talk about the fact this old statistic, Muslims 6%. Walk with me, my flower. Walk with me through London, through Leicester, through Birmingham, through Bradford, and walk with me through Minneapolis, because you can call it 6% if you make that disparate in a population. But in the cities where they cluster together, you will find they have the majority. It's why they have the power. It's why we have a Muslim mayor. It's why we have a Muslim housing association. It's why we have a Muslim police association. And it's why we have Sharia law in most of our cities.
Okay, I don't know that much about her. She might be Islamophobic for all I know. I just loved how sarcastic she is with Adam and just puts him in his place. And he could tell the other co-hosts just cracking up as well. That was pretty funny.
But here's the thing is with Ben, he went on this network, I believe it was Fox, and he was talking about the enemies. He's talking about Muslims, and he calls them heathens. He said, I mean, these are his own words. He said it's hard to even fight an enemy who's not like a human. So he is dehumanizing the enemy. That's never a good tactic. That's never a good tactic to say these people are heathens, blah, blah, blah. I mean, as a Christian, you gotta realize, hey, everybody is made in the image of God. Everybody has equal value, and you might have to go to war with somebody, but to sit there and call them heathens and to try to dehumanize the enemy, I don't trust you. And I don't trust Ben Shapiro, so he is dehumanizing an enemy because he politically wants a certain result.